ennyarodasi drive. Today is Tuesday. Drinking the coffee out of a tomato basil and inspired by Italy. Stickity. Shall we read? I start off the day with a read. I brought my binder, and I was noticing that what I had wrote has been written a long time ago. The willful infringement of IP, concepts that underpin the protection of ideas and inventions, are not new. As a necessary feature in the commercialization of research, IP is used in commercialization of research, and it's a tool to help your endeavors. Works to describe your idea, design, appearance, brands, production in the literary, artistic, and scientific domain and form of expression. It highlights your right to translate, your right to make adaptations, and arrangements of the work, the right to perform in public, the right to recite literary works in public, the right to communicate public works, the right to broadcast, the right to make reproductions. If I'm not in conflict with exploitation. The right to produce work as work. Moral rights. So, years protected. Stickity. Trademark and distinguishing trademark. A poor trademark can entangle you in legal disputes. Registered trademark. It ensures ownership right. It enforces against copycats. Avoiding surnames, avoiding similar existing trademarks. Avoid generic words, such as super, platinum. Use invented words. Plant names. plant. Thank God. It's nice to sometimes not be aware of what's going on in the world within, personal circumstances beyond the stance of belief or how you operate day to day, within how you interact with the world, utilizing your words. So within communication, within bar talk, within meeting with friends, family, how, the discussion that you have with your wife, your children at the breakfast table, or, in the morning, or whenever the family is together. And recognizing that circumstances that may be perceived dormant within those situations or circumstances, may be, not within my realms of things and stuff and such. So, the first page. So what I enjoy about binders is that you could utilize loose leaf paper, you could utilize notebook paper, and because of the 3 rings, you can clip your ideas and you can make new ones. And, within making new ones, maybe not have, to not have awareness of, how the world may perceive, certain, disciplines, or maybe, certain generational circumstances to be highlighted to those as normal, natural. To recognize the struggle that I've not recognized, definitely is not inspiring. It's not motivating. It's not bringing of certain comforts. It's not having of certain comforts. And recognizing the comfort of maybe the world's stance with how the world chooses to live their life. And maybe it is within the American dream to regulate how you utilize your personality, how you utilize your character based on character choices, character beliefs, and character actions, I would guess. So and definitely keeping it before. Things and stuff and such. Don't don't sit here and whine to me about how you are, how you're going to utilize, bringing the essence of freaking suicide into the collective consciousness within, certain truths for the world. Certain truths for the world doesn't necessarily have to be my truth. That creates a recognition of, question mark. And I don't know, I think it would be silly of me to highlight my question. Though, within recognizing, the essence of there's a place and a time, and within place and time, who are you? And, within noticing, all of these questions, or noticing one question that, raises many questions. Within the respect of time and place, and not to question who you are, to know who you are. I would not prescribe you the essence of the world, because I would know that I wanted you to stand aside from the world and not be worldly, and not to speak of worldly things. And if you do, maybe recognize slang as a viewer, recognizing that that's not within my moral compass of things and stuff and such, and recognizing that within this for me, it reminds me of that box, and as I place this box over you, you are not going to hear anything that is happening outside of you. You're not going to feel anything that is happening outside of you. You are not going to know how the world perceives feelings. You're not going to recognize the difference and how vastly amazing you are, and nor are you going to feel the need to ever have to compare yourself. And everything that is going on around you, whether it is perceived to be, faulted, forgive them, and notice them as forgiven. To recognize forgiven, that doesn't mean that, that I forgave you. It means that, within what maybe has been created within the world, you are not of the world. So therefore, you shall not face the same struggles as the world. You shall not face struggles. You shall not understand within your moral compass who, what, when, where. Because to be immune would be to recognize that maybe you are the vaccine. maybe you are maybe you're the problem creator, and if you're the problem creator, then, you're the solution haver. And I would guess and within marking senses of entitlement, I'm not entitled to any person, place, or thing, though I would notice that I am a Hispanic queen, and there are posers in the chat, so I wanted to, forgive, how you recognize the word forgive. I don't know, maybe years ago, maybe, I am not here to, I'm not here to resonate with your struggle. It's not a struggle being Hispanic. It is not a struggle being Hispanic within a community that is, are you trying to tell me to settle down? I would imagine. I think I don't know if you're trying to tell me to settle down, because I think I freaking told you to settle down a long time ago. And maybe now I'm just freaking showing myself. And you're honestly, you're making all these, comments that we have made with, through, things and stuff and such. And you're honestly, things, what is it? Let them work, let them live. And in your honesty, all the time, maybe we have been creating entitlement. And maybe we have came to the senses that we want to entitle you, and I would say, me be entitled? That is, I shall wear that grace with honor, and I shall have necessary awareness towards things and stuff and such. Recognizing that, within certain attitudes and, moments, I don't know if it's clarity, I don't know if it's clear essence, I don't know if it's, I don't know if it is clairvoyance, where, from my space and time, have thoughts and opinions and things and stuff and such. And maybe my thoughts and opinions and stuff and such are, what if that is what you've been trying to tell me, tell to me, and we could not enjoy the essence of what has been created together unless, there was a certain knowing or understanding. Yikes. And then recognizing, choice words within the collective consciousness, things and stuff and such. And within, don't be high on your own supply type stuffs and things. And then, you know, within a full circle thought of recognizing, well, you know, if you have created the problem, then you have the solution. And within the recognizing the problem, recognize that you are still Jenny from the block. And things itself in you. And you are still Jenny from the block. And you are still Jenny from the block. And things and stuff and such, you know. Cheers. I'm gonna share with you some ideas, some thoughts, some, you know, some comments, maybe some, you know, collective criticism. You know, we all enjoy criticism. Whether you don't recognize or whether you do, recognizing that within the essence of criticism, you know, that is that's more of a alright, so dudes, you know, let's not separate the genders. Oh goodness. Ennyarodasi. So within recognizing how people think, and you know, and recognizing, you know, whenever you don't quite think within the same struggle. Whenever you don't think within the same struggle, you can create solutions that have yet to be have yet to be provocated. And things and stuff and such. So within provocation, we recognize consolidation, provocation, and to consolidate, you know, whether it is your intellectual property, whether it is, you know, a part of who you are, you know, you bring respect to that. You know, and I would notice and recognize the essences of things and stuff and such. Being within recognizing the contrast of life. The contrast being whenever you are speaking from a place of certain lack of knowledge, sometimes that highlights, you know, certain, it would be nostalgic thoughts and ideas that somehow within, whether it's within telepathy, whether it's within, you know. So recognizing, I noticed Vibe Tribe. Maybe you noticed Vibe, but I didn't notice Vibe Tribe. I've recently noticed Vibe Tribe, and that's not for me. That's not a permanent thing for me, because, you know, things and stuff and such. You know, to keep the ball rolling, it would not be conducive towards, you know. It would not be conducive towards any of that. Any hoodles. Happy day. You know, to recognize the essence of, you know, less is more is less. And then within the essences of political drawl and all those stuff and things. These are things that, may be predominantly highlighted within society, and that is to be noticed. How am I going to create entitlement if you do not recognize that you are entitled, or that I have created entitlement for you? It is a choice. It is literally a choice to spoil your child. And to spoil your child does not necessarily mean that you're not creating entitlement for that child's betterment. Within that child's betterment, I would not recognize, or maybe that child would not recognize that they're spoiled. And if they are recognizing, and they're starting to want to connect within the safe, generous awareness, recognizing that they already may be a generous soul, and that may just be perfect within the stances of society. And then recognizing within the stances of society, the end is so very much highlighted within the stance and recognition of the people, and to learn how to ask and to not know how to ask, to live your life for 33 years without knowing how to ask is, and without practicing that ability, without practicing that cognitive knowledge, there's that saying, you don't want to die with your song still in you. And that is a literal job for some, to recognize the essence of, coroners, that and then that report being a part of your whole work career and history, and recognizing that even if you were a major racist, that you must create some sort of camaraderie. And if you don't have that camaraderie, how detrimental to your whole plan of further existence, further enjoyment, further fervor. And maybe we should look up the word fervor, because recognizing the tenacious. Alright, tenacious, create, something that is tenacious may create the essence of fervor. It's going to annoy the shit out of me, but whenever there's, that background noise, that silent, the silent, things and stuff and such, would be an intense and passionate noticing. An intense and passionate so it is intense, the intense passion that creates the tenaciousness within things and stuff and such. I would imagine things and stuff and such, recognizing Bible study would be to recognize the, if you are to create discontent is, you sometimes whenever you're so passionate about something, you hold on to something too and it starts, what is it? It slips away, everything that you had created then becomes the game of, some, content individuals that may be happy, truly happy, within the struggles that you created. So within the struggles that you've created, therefore challenging further resistance within the simplistic notions that you may have created for a certain perfection, being, whenever Adam and Eve ate of the apple, maybe, they both felt naked, so they hid themselves from one another, and they felt ashamed, and the stances that they were, within the circumstances, they felt ashamed, so they had hid themselves, within hiding themselves, maybe they were not adding to their potential. Maybe hiding themselves created a whole new loop of discontentment, fervor within the unstiggity notions within the world. So if we are to notice drama cycles and be accountable for instances, choices, stances that are beyond yourself within the essence of beyond your, what is it? I don't know if it would be beyond your modus operandi or if it would be right within, the modus operandi. I don't even know if that is that a stickity? Modus operandi. Definition. It's a musical terminology. Italian musical terms. Music theory. Top 120 non-vulgar motorcycle terms. So, modus operandi could be understood within. Oh my God. It's not my job to think about my words. It's not my job to think about how I formulate my words. It's not my job to think about if I utilize this word before that word, comes before that ain't my job. It's not my responsibility. So highlight some shit to me that, slows down your fucking whole goddamn process of fucking intellectual fucking progression, intellectual fucking property, intellectual property. Let us think of the fucking, with real dicks. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not saying, I'm mentioning. You know what I'm mentioning? Oh, okay. So within, passionate. What is the word? Within my certain fervor. Recognizing my, let's not highlight my past. And because if I bring up my past, whenever you are the kind of I've never really been this kind of individual. And you shouldn't push people towards being passive aggressive, because then they're going to do things, they're going to act in ways that they perceive to you as communication. Maybe we communicate by talking, and to fuck up a train of thought would be to fuck up your whole fucking, purpose there, brother. How are you gonna fuck up, to fuck up a train of thought, to slow down a train of thought, to recognize that certain businesses, whenever they're not, emotionally thriving, that can shut down the government, that can shut down bank systems, that can shut, all these things and stuff and such, and let's highlight the essence of accountability. Because to be accountable is not to be, reactive. That is not morally correct, nor is it morally showing of control, nor is it morally showing of power. As a matter of fact, it highlights weakness. It highlights a weakness within the pattern of how your stance maybe have to do with how you act and respond. Therefore, being a modus operandi of control within certain unstigities outside of the notion and outside of the power of which you have created for yourself, whether that be through recognizing understanding, and recognizing you don't need to understand necessarily to understand. In other words, I as a Hispanic queen have noticed things and stuff and such. I've noticed that we are creating a religion here, and to best do that would not be distracted with my own nonsense. To be not distracted by my own nonsense. Don't speak to me without speaking to me, and expect me to speak to you that, sometimes I do things and I don't recognize that I'm doing it. Until it could be months, it could be days, months, years, whenever you are, you are very, very partially aware, very certainly, unaware of your own powers, your own, things and stuff and such. You cannot react to how you choose to live your life, how you utilize your powers, how you choose to stand, whether you choose to, if you choose to be counterintuitive, if you choose to not be counterintuitive, that was not ever, not supposed to be your blessing. It doesn't, it could be perceived, if it is perceived outside of the blessing that it is for the world. You cannot allow the world to hold up the wall, to recognize that, you know, where the world is not holding up the wall properly, where, you know, having proper respect for, you know, the social interactions. If I were to measure how you think of me, and maybe that is a reflection of how you think about America. Maybe that's a reflection of how you think of Hispanics. You know, maybe that is a reflection of how you think of people of Latin culture. And within the Latin culture, you recognize the, you know, the revolution within the English, and recognizing that there maybe have, there has maybe been, certain understandings that have, coincided within the stance, within the moral compass, within the moral fortitude of evolution. And within evolution, recognizing the revolution within evolution. Because within certain dividends, and to recognize, to deduce in your, within, alright, so let us, maybe we should thesaurus deduce. Deduce. Alright, so is deductive reasoning. Alright, what is the... Alright, what is... So within deductive reasoning, you start with a general idea, and from that general idea, you work towards specific and certain specific. Certain specific conclusions within through references and inferences. So recognizing, and whenever I sometimes gain these moments of clarity, recognizing, I said, within specialized awareness, replace the C with a G. Because I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. And within recognizing how you may have interpreted that and how you may not have interpreted that. Noticing the highlighted essence of responsibility within things and stuff and such. And recognizing and utilizing utilizing weaponry against, and utilizing weaponry for yourself would not be within, certain deduction. I would guess that it wouldn't be. There wouldn't be the implication of how the fuck could there be an implication of discipline within notions that have not been properly communicated. There should be discipline within the essences of the place, the notions that have not been properly complicated, that have not been properly presentated, that have not been properly, conjugated. They've not been properly, things and stuff and such. Whenever you hold on to your fucking sense of entitlement without, without letting your sense of entitlement breathe properly, you're causing yourself a whole slew of situations, in circumstances that's not for my moral compass to recognize that you're asking. I don't care whether you're asking for the whole goddamn world or not. If I'm included in that, then I may think a certain way. Especially within your stances, nigga. Let's not highlight one of the biggest niggas in the chat because of things and stuff and such. Let's leave it, leave it to Cleaver to be accountable within mentioning, that whether or not that is my communication or not is neither here nor there. Maybe it is, and maybe, it's just not my problem. Recognizing that it's easy for me to speak on things that are not my problem. It is easy for y'all to recognize that y'all connect in the struggle, and y'all, things within connecting in the struggle, I would not recognize that my slang, is right in tandem with y'all's bullshit. That is divinely. I wouldn't even know. It's not ironic. Because it's not ironic that people walk themselves into dumbass situations, and people walk themselves into stupid situations all the time. To hit your child, is that going to make them any more accountable for their actions? Maybe it'll make them run to those actions even harder because, the essence of resistance within present day stances create and are interpreted within the youth as communication. The more passive aggressive you are, the more confusing of an individual you are. You're speaking real good communication there, child. Real good communication there, child. Because, I wouldn't measure your sense of entitlement in every other chat that you're in. Because I wouldn't realize that maybe every other chat you're in is creating your sense of entitlement. And recognizing that I don't have to fight for what I want. Because if I naturally have what I want, then it should be your job to create more reasons to, not utilize enjoyment as some sort of slang term. Because throughout the generations, the word enjoyment has been, has yet to be slandered by the essences of society within communication, passive-aggressive communication, because they think that that's how you communicate. You say things whenever you don't say things. Now, where the fuck is the reasoning in that? And how the fuck is that conducive for reasoning? Because to have a conversation, it requires two alive individuals coexisting, motherfuckers. I
I'm not sitting here, trying to, maybe me sitting here saying what I'm saying or mentioning what I'm mentioning is for me to notice and be generous. This is my way of showing gratitude. Because if everything in life is directly, indirectly, directly, then of course I'm not going to recognize if I'm hitting you, if I'm trying to hug you. Or I would not recognize that hugging you could be hitting you. I don't know. And I should not know these things and stuff and such. And within not knowing these things and stuff and such, of course I can walk around as a bubble boy. And recognize that it might be within your stance to misinterpret everything that I mentioned. Therefore, your sense of enjoyment, I'm going to take away your sense of enjoyment. Because if you're going to, if you are communicating to me that you have a care or concern in the world for me, you would not bring me reasons to notice where there should be care in the world, where there should be concern, and where there should be lack of these essences. Because, within deductive reasoning, if you are bothering me, that's not going to ever be communicated as trust. It's not going to ever be properly communicated as, because trust within two individuals is, I'm going to ride for you, you know what I'm saying? Within the essences of I'm going to ride for you, we're going to make sure that we don't die. And if we die, recognizing that's within, the essence of, that's within the essences of some deductive reasoning. And, recognizing that it is my life. I was given a name. Not to give away, not to raise for somebody's sense of entitlement. Maybe one day I thought that way, not today. And within, deductive reasoning, I've not made, within deductive reasoning, I've barely made, my stances to be, known annoyingly towards the community, but before I maybe show deductive reasoning. You ever thought about that? Whenever you're trying to shelter your child from the evils of the world, you make sure that your child doesn't know of these evils. And within knowing of these evils, they better not know of it, that would, the talk of the birds and the bees. That's not evil. That is natural. What's evil is whenever there is a man and a woman and they cannot properly communicate because the generation is flawed due to the previous generation being over entitled within certain notions. And that is both here and there, and recognizably. So within noticing your power, noticing your stance within the community, and noticing, the community may just find it easier to stand with whatever is there, as far as, I don't have to fight for what I want. If I have what I want, then maybe, I should maybe I should, practice my options within stances and belief. Because if I have what I want, then if I have what I want, then And within what I want would not be misperceived, because to want would be, you must want something to ask for something, right? I mean, within deductive reasoning, I would guess. And within deductive reasoning, I would also notice the instances whenever you have what you may, desire or want, that would be within a certain reasoning to consolidate. And to consolidate reasons to enjoy entitlement, because that is just a notion of a story, a distant story of, that for, generations, or even just, a generation, or generations before mine. So, to consolidate would not be for me to, and maybe for me to create certain condolences. Because, let me think about that. Within the stance of not sharing the same struggles, the essence of condolence would be the essence of sympathy. Would be the essence of sympathy within the occasion of shared struggle. And within the essence of shared struggle, there's shared enjoyment. And within the essences of deductive reasoning, may have consolidated, the strength within your stances. And, to recognize a combined instance would be to be effective, both single and within certain consolidations, recognizing that, that it was within certain will to consolidate, through certain means, whether beknownst or unbeknownst. That is neither here nor there. And if it is both here and there, then we, have, welcomed ourselves and have evolved ourselves within understanding, stances that we are currently living beyond our means that have maybe in the past been the essence of certain consolidated notions, and then within the essence of evolution being recognized through our flaws of judgment, flaws of thinking, flaws of action of the past, and where our flaws, so where perfection perceived, alright, so I have mentioned that there is the essence of imperfection within perfection, and there is the essence of perfection within perfection. And that is for somebody in the world to be grateful, proud, and beyond the limits of recognizing that sometimes the coworker, sometimes your employees try to limit their bosses. That's why sometimes, the essence of dirty jobs, I don't want to, I'd rather hinder the evolution of language because of conspiracy. And within conspiracy, recognizing how many people are willing to put their life on the line for certain luxuries and comforts that were consolidated within measuring your sense of entitlement. And maybe within hiding in the garden, things and stuff and such. Moto Zapparenda. I don't know if that is a terminology in music yet, because things and stuff and such. Yeah. I don't know that is. The essence of entitlements. The essence of entitlement. Alright, so, as, you're creating entitlement for me. Don't be an Indian giver, they would mention. Don't be an Indian giver, things and stuff and such. Don't be an Indian giver. Oh no, would that be Hispanic for learn how to be a hater? Been hanging out with I don't know where you've been hanging out with, because you show me where you walk and I'll tell you who you are. I will tell you who, I don't know, I'll tell you who. That is just within the scrimmage of things that I'm supposed to mention. That's within the modo zapparanda of the glossary within music terminology. I would notice. And then I would notice that there's no intellectual property, there's no, there's this one article, within the history books. Bitch, if I am making a fucking religion, if I'm making a religion, I better not be distracted by one of my pawns. I was created to fucking consolidate that, your sense of entitlement. Because you weren't supposed to be allowed to have certain entitlements. Within picking favorites, I wouldn't mention that there may be a right and a wrong way to pick a favorite. How am I gonna make I ain't gonna make all the kids in the house entitled. And, recognizing modus operandi within, how your enjoyment translates into circumstance. How your enjoyment has translated into circumstance has consolidated for me the noticing of the best ways to operate unknowingly. Recognizing that certain creations of unknown proportion are within my shades of entitlement and are and have been created as pawns for my game. So don't be the sort of chess player that allows pawns to, I don't know if pawns can be in the way of, queens. You have to protect your king and your queen. So with it now recognizing that we are within the essence of senses of entitlement, and where we've been agreeing thus far within the sentiments of slang terms, lingo for newbies. Now I would dare to be threatened by one of my employees. Now, if my job was, if my company was murder, then I am not going to be, actually, as a matter of fact, I am going to be entitled, and my employees are going to be on their perceived best behavior. Ennyarodasi. Ennyarodasi. So within within your best behaviors, maybe that would highlight, whenever you are whenever you are being disciplined and still not quite still enjoying your job, your career, maybe you formulated your job and your career into the essence of, I'm gonna be an employee on strike, I'm gonna be the boarding place within the essence of, hey, this is a safe space. You're gonna be real entitled. As I don't talk about my struggles. I don't talk about my pawns. Because I would not make a freaking Ponzi scheme without certain pawns. And recognizing that the pawns don't have name. Pawns don't have names. So let us. What is it? So there are prerequisites to establish LLC.
for-profit or nonprofit / research within social platforms terms of service agreements involving content copyright. So within, to set up licensing agreements with baseline for terms of use. It would have to be an open platform. There would have to be a mutual beneficiary. There would have to be royalties that were tied up. There were royalties that are not tied up within prerequisites. And there should be a membership timed to scale. Membership timed to scale for usage. And to determine plausible negotiations would have to have established artists collaborate with you musically to generate a mutual benefits is within a sponsorship / affiliate. So it would be, your sponsorship / affiliate allotted within time management is affiliate sponsorship / sponsorship. Within the study of musically generated musical benefits. This may be a part of certain courtesy letters within the game of chess. And within the game of chess, to not be blindsided would be to be tackled. And sometimes the essence that you would interpret to be tackled would be to knock the wind out of you. I'm thinking on opposite terms. I'm thinking more knock the reason for wind out. You know that saying? Alright, well, this is what I say to my children and at my children. Did I give you a reason to cry? If I did not give you a reason to cry, and you still want to cry, then I can give you a reason and a circumstance to cry about. Within the essence of the garden, and all these things and stuff and such, may be considered within, yikes. Recognizing, yikes. And, the essence of forgiveness. And not to have that wrongly interpreted. And things and stuff and such. Really didn't know once I'd meet ya that you would turn into another feature. Really didn't expect that neither. Who wants that feature? When perspective caught, you are blindsided by the thought. Self-love. Don't top the love from above. Somewhere. Who's that talking? You would imagine. Who's talking? Look! You ever, as a parent, as a sibling, as a friend, as a lover, as a family member, as a neighbor, you know, to recognize that sometimes within harsh words spoken or harsh ideas being, you know, put across to you, being presented to you within certain forgiving and sympathetic, empathetic gestures, and forgiving without the essence of vice versa. To recognize whenever a parent that is being stern may be presented as, you know, a parent that doesn't care, may be presented as a parent that maybe doesn't know what to say, how to say it, how to convey information. And that's why it is important that we are accountable, because you cannot embrace evolution without embracing accountability. And within embracing accountability, that requires you to be proud of what may be perceived as a mistake, and proud within the essence of, you know, maybe you did not do something to hurt someone, maybe you did not say something or act in ways, you know, repeatedly to hurt someone, maybe you did not recognize that what you were saying, how you were saying, or how you were coming across was being hurtful, was being triggering, was being not unrequited. It's not recognized, because unrequited is not the essence of. So unrequited would be a situation of, you know, a relationship that two people are together, and there's not enough chemistry, there's not enough passion to hold the relationship together. And within the essence of unrequited, I would guess that may be triggering to some, because for me to even utilize the word unrequited would be a trigger to some. I would know for sure. And within recognizing the essence of interpreted unrequited love may be within perceived recognition of interpolation and things and stuff and such, for me to make a post and maybe to call you out by name, to call you things and stuff and such, to enjoy the simplicities, to enjoy the consolidations in life, would not be to provide you with options would mean that it would predicate that there's certain choice action that's being measured, and as you measure choice action, you can recognize whether this is within an enabling characteristic within the stances of romance perceived in the world. I would maybe guess, I don't know, how it is to play Hidden City gameplay. I don't know what it is to play Hidden City gameplay. Within Hidden City gameplay, I'm not going to guess as to how you really feel or what you really think, because I may be absolutely wrong. And for me to be absolutely wrong, ain't nobody here communicating to me properly, because maybe your proper communication is coming through within the language that opposite of what you'd want to be perceived. And that would have to be within your sense of accountability, not my sense of, making a wrong decision or making perceived, decisions. As far as recognizing, sometimes whenever life, I would notice. So I had mentioned free will being the notion of choice. You can choose to rejuvenate yourself within the essence of consolidation. Maybe before, maybe you were trying to, within consolidation, you would recognize that may just be a pawn within, the realms of choice. And within choice action, I didn't ask you to,
uphold a certain attitude. I didn't ask you to uphold certain morals. I didn't ask you to uphold or be noticing of what more, who, may or may not measure moral compass within the fortitude of illusion. I'm not sure if you had drawn the parallels within the movie The Illusionist and the inventions invented by Nikola Tesla. Alright, so there's Tesla, and Tesla was in competition with Billy Graham. Billy Graham had created... Now maybe we should... Now Billy Graham has a library, there's a church, there's botanical gardens. There's devotionals. There's associations, official sites. And there's the evangelistic association. Which exists to proclaim the gospel. There's Devotions Archive. So Billy Graham was an American evangelist whose large-scale preaching and missions and friendship with numerous U.S. presidents brought him to international prominence, recognizing the opportunity presented by new media technologies. So within his public career with a preaching mission in Queens, New York, or with a preaching mission for Queens, New York, recognizing sermons and biography. Within my unstudied awareness, there's a correlation between Billy Graham and Nikola Tesla. Historically. Also a civil rights advocate. Alright, so this is probably within the essence of a different episode. There was the coil. Alright, so there had something similar to do. So it had to do with the air brake. I should have. it was Westinghouse. It was George Westinghouse. So in Charlotte, there's the Billy Graham Parkway, and there's Westinghouse. My things and stuff and such. It was George Westinghouse. Was the prolific American inventor and engineer and entrepreneurial industrialist. In 1872, George Westinghouse invented the automatic air brake. By inventing the triple valve and equipping each car with its own air cylinder, air pressure is maintained in the auxiliary reservoirs. He is best known for his creative railway, air brake, and for being a pioneer in the electrical power distribution, in the use of AC, which is alternating current. During his career, he received 362 patents for his inventions and established 61 companies. Many still in existence today. Many still within the realms of known existence today. Because his invention of a train braking system based on using compressed air transformed the railroad industry around the world. He founded the Westinghouse Air Brake Company in 1869. He and his engineers developed track switching and signaling systems, leading to the founding of the company Union Switch and Signal in 1881. In the early 1800s, his interest and his inventions for the safe production, transmission, and use of natural gas spurred a whole new energy industry. During the same period, Westinghouse recognized the potential of using alternate current for electric power distribution. He founded the Westinghouse Electric Corporation. Westinghouse's electrical business was in direct competition with Thomas Edison, who is promoting direct current, DC electricity. Westinghouse's Electric won the contract to demonstrate its AC system to illuminate the White City. At the 1893 exposition in Chicago, the company went on to install the world's first large-scale AC power generation plant at Niagara Falls, New York, which opened 1895. So the company installed the world's first large-scale AC powered plan within the generation plant.
from the generation plant. Ironically, among ironically, the company went on to install the world's first large-scale plant at Niagara Falls. Plant Niagara Falls. From his youth, Westinghouse displayed a talent with machinery and business. At the outbreak of the Civil War in 1862, then the 15-year-old enlisted in the New York National Guard and served until his parents implored him to return home. The following year, he persuaded his parents to let him re-enlist, whereupon he joined the Company M of the 16th New York Cavalry and earned a promotion to the rank of corporal. He was honorably discharged in November of 1863, and a month later he joined the Union Navy. He served as acting third assistant engineer on the gunboat. The USS Stars and Stripes through the end of the war. These ships were used to blockade southern port cities. After this discharge in 1865, he returned to his family and enrolled in the Union College. He dropped out during his first term. He developed his skills in his father's company shop, which produced farm equipment such as the Westinghouse farm engine. Westinghouse was just 19 when he received his first patent for a rotary steam engine. At age 21, he invented a car replacer, a device used to guide derailed railroad cars back into the tracks, and a reversible frog. It says a railroad switch turnout. A railroad switch, also known as AE, turnout or set of points. And CE is a mechanical installation. Mechanical installation enabling railway trains to be guided from one track to another, such as a railway junction or where a spur or sliding branches off. So a railroad switch turnout is an AE. So is the mechanical installation enabling railway trains to be guided from one track to another. During his travels, Westinghouse had witnessed the aftermath of a collision where the engineers on two trains approaching each other on the same track had seen each other and were unable to stop their trains in time using the existing brake system. At the time, brakemen had to run along catwalks on top of cars, manually applying the brakes. Coordinating that was tricky and dangerous. It also meant trains could be no longer than 10 cars, and the thousands of brakemen died or were maimed each year. In
1869, at age 23, Westinghouse first publicly demonstrated his revolutionary new railroad braking system in Pittsburgh. It stopped trains using a compressed air system. The Westinghouse air brake was founded that November. His first braking system used an air compressor in the locomotive, with an air reservoir and a special valve on each car, and a single compressed air pipe running the length of the train with flexible connections between cars. That line controlled the brakes, allowing the engineer to apply and release the brakes simultaneously on all cars. Although the system was successful as demonstrated, when it prevented a serious mishap in front of assembled witnesses, it was hardly a failsafe. Any rupture or disconnection in the airline left the train without brakes. So over the next 2 years, Westinghouse and his engineers solved the problem by inventing the process, designing valves so that constant pressure in the lines kept the brakes disengaged. With the improved design, any interruption or break in the line would automatically cause the train to stop. During the next decade, following up on his earliest inventions, Westinghouse extended his interest in railway signaling and track switching systems. Previously, signaling was done with oil lamps, and track switching was done manually. Westinghouse's design changed that. In 1882, Westinghouse founded the Union Switch and Signal Company to manufacture, market, install, and maintain its innovative control, which also were eventually adopted by railroads around the world. By 1883, Westinghouse became interested in natural gas. He had been recently discovered at the Haymaker well in nearby Murraysville, Pennsylvania, and it attracted a lot of attention, in part because of a spectacular flaming blowout of a well. After visiting the well and recognizing its commercial potential, he undertook drilling for gas on his estate Solitude, today's Westinghouse Park in Pittsburgh. Early in the morning of May 21st, 1844, the drilling crew struck a pocket of gas at 15,000 feet deep, and the resulting blast of dirt and water blew the top off the derrick. It took the Westinghouse a week to find a way to cap the flow of gas. He was encouraged to develop a system to deliver gas to heat and light area homes and businesses. He eventually several natural gas derricks towered above his estate's Victorian-era gardens. In modern times, there is no above-ground trace left of these derricks. That year, Westinghouse obtained a dormant utility charter for the Philadelphia Company, and over the next 3 years, he developed devices and obtained more than 30 patents for his technology. He used the Philadelphia Company to develop gas wells and promoted its use both for commercial and residential purposes. By 1886, the Philadelphia Company owned 58 wells and 184 miles of distributing piping in the Pittsburgh area. And by 1887, it served over 12,000 private homes and 582 industrial customers across the state. In 1889, his involvement with the generation and distribution of electricity was surging. Westinghouse resigned as president of the Philadelphia Company, and he remained on its board. Growth in the natural gas business slowed in the 1890s, hampered by supply problems and ongoing safety concerns about his gas distribution in homes and businesses. And the Philadelphia Company continued to grow, and spawning such enterprises as Equitable Gas. In the early 1880s, Westinghouse interests in railroad switching and natural gas distribution led him to get involved with the new field of electrical power distribution. As this electric lighting of streetcars with arc lighting. Arc lighting is there's an arc lamp or arc light that is a lamp that produces light by an electric arc. If you can notice, there's a small distance between the coil of a light bulb and the arc. Arc lighting was already a growing business, with many companies building systems powered by either locally generated direct current, DC, or alternating current, AC. At the same time, Thomas Edison was launching the first DC electric utility design to light homes and businesses with his patented incandescent bulb. An incandescent light bulb, an incandescent lamp, or incandescent light globe is an electric light with a filament that is heated until it glows. The filament is enclosed in a glass bulb that is either evacuated or filled with inert gas to protect the filament from oxidation. Westinghouse in 1844, Westinghouse started developing his own DC domestic lighting system and hired physicist William Stanley to help work on it. William Stanley was an American born in Brooklyn. During his career, he obtained 129 patents covering a variety of electric devices. In 1913, he also patented an all-steel vacuum bottle, formed the Stanley Bottle Company, and to help when reading the British Technical Journal on Engineering, Westinghouse became aware of a new electrical transformer developed by Lucien Gaillard and John Gibbs. They discovered that AC electricity
could be stepped up in voltage by a transformer for transmission, and then stepped down by another transformer for lower voltage consumer use. And this made it possible for large centralized power plants to generate electricity and supply it for over long distances to both cities and places with more dispersed populations. This was a huge advantage over the low voltage DC system being marketed by Edison's electric utility, which meant generating stations had a limited transmission range of only a mile to the low voltage and high currents used. Westinghouse recognized AC's potential to achieve greater economies of scale as a way to create a truly competitive electrical system. Instead of simply piecing together another barely competitive DC lighting system, just different enough to get around Edison's patents. In 1885, Westinghouse imported several transformers and Siemens AC generator to begin experimenting with AC networks in Pittsburgh. Siemens AC is a German multinational technology conglomerate, and it's focused on industrial automation, distributed energy resources, rail transport, and health technologies. Siemens is the largest industrial manufacturing company in Europe, and the AC generator to begin experimenting. In electricity generation, the generator is a device that converts motion-based power or fuel-based power into electric power for use in an external circuit. Sources of mechanical energy include steam turbines, gas turbines, water turbines, and internal combustion engines, wind turbines, and even hand cranks. The demonstration light system was driven by a hydroelectric generator that produced 500 volts of AC stepped down to 100 volts to light incandescent bulbs in homes and businesses. In 1889, he renamed it Westinghouse Electric Corporation. The Westinghouse Company installed 30 more AC lighting systems within a year, and by the end of 1887, it had 68 alternating current power stations, compared to 121 DC-based stations Edison had installed over 7 years. This competition with Edison led in the late 1880s to what is called the War of Currents. The War of Currents was a series of events surrounding the introduction of competing electric power transmission systems in the late 1880s and early 1890s. It grew out of 2 lighting systems developed in the late 1870s and early 1880s. Thomas Edison and his company joined in with the spreading public perception that the high voltages used in AC distribution were unsafe and deadly. Edison even suggested a Westinghouse AC generator to be used in the state of New York's new electric chair. The electric chair is a specialized device used for capital punishment through electrocution. The
The condemned is strapped to a custom wooden chair and electrocuted. Westinghouse also had to deal with another AC rival, the Thomson-Houston Electric Company, that was manufacturing company for one of the precursors of General Electric. By 1889, he had bought out another competitor, the Brush Electric Company. The Brush Group delivered end-to-end engineering solutions, including consultancy, design, project management, and award-winning technologies to project across the UK, with nearly 150 years of expertise and reputation for industry-leading transformers and switchgear. Thomson-Houston was expanding its business while trying to avoid patent conflicts with Westinghouse, arranging deals such as coming to an agreement over lighting company territory, paying royalties to use the Stanley transformer patent, and allowing Westinghouse to use its Sawyer Man incandescent bulb patent. In 1890, the Edison Company, in collusion with Thomson-Houston, managed to arrange in 1890 that the first electric chair was powered with a Westinghouse AC generator. Westinghouse tried to block this move by hiring the best lawyer of the day to unsuccessfully defend William Kemmler, the first man scheduled to die in the chair. William Francis Kemmler was an American murderer who was the first person executed by the electric chair. He was convicted of murdering Matilda, also known as Tilly, Ziegler, his common-law wife, a year earlier, although electrocution had previously been successfully used to kill a horse. The first man scheduled to die in the chair within the War of Currents ended in 1892, when J.P. Morgan forced Edison General Electric to switch to AC power, then pushed Edison out of the company he had founded. Edison General Electric Company was merged with Thomson House Electric Company to form General Electric, a conglomerate with the board of Thomson-Houston in control. Development and competition during this period, Westinghouse continued to pour money and engineering resources into the goal of building a completely integrated AC system. Obtaining the Sawyer Man lamp by buying consolidated electric light and developing components such as induction meters, obtaining the rights to inventor Nikola Tesla's brushless AC. Induction motor. An induction motor, or an asynchronous motor, is an AC electric motor in which the electric currents of the rotor that produces torque is obtained by electromagnetic induction from the magnetic field of the stator winding. An induction motor therefore needs no electrical connections to the rotor. Along with patents for a new type of electric power distribution, polyphase alternating current, the acquisition of a feasible AC motor gave Westinghouse a key patented element for his system. The financial strain of buying up patents and hiring the engineers needed to build it meant development of Tesla motors had to be put on hold for a while. A polyphase system is a means of distributing alternating current. Electrical power that utilizes more than one AC phase, which refers to the phase offset value between AC and multiple conducting wires. Phases may also refer to the corresponding terminals in conductors. In 1891, Westinghouse's company was in trouble. The near collapse of Barings Bank in London triggered the financial panic of 1890, causing investors to call in their loans. Suddenly, the cash shortage forced the company to refinance its debts. The new lead lenders demanded that Westinghouse cut back on what looked to them like excessive spending on acquisition of other companies' research and patents. In 1891, Westinghouse built a hydroelectric AC-powered plant. The Ames hydroelectric generating plant. Near Colorado, which supplied AC power to the Gold King mine 3.5 miles away. This was the first successful demonstration of long-distance transmission of industrial-grade alternating current power, and used 200 HP Westinghouse alternators. One working as a generator producing 3,000 volts, 133 hertz, single-phase AC, and the other used an AC motor. We are learning today. We're not learning. We are not studying. We are being stickety. We are being natural to who we are as individuals. And being very thoughtful, very considerate. Very much coinciding with the times tell. And anything else should not be granted that grace. Grace stands for courteous goodwill. Within the essence of courteous goodwill.
So I've shuffled the deck, and this was at the bottom of the deck. This is like this. Wolf spirit. Turning knowledge into wisdom. Stiggity, stiggity. Turning wisdom into knowledge from turning knowledge into wisdom. Oh, we have turning wisdom to knowledge with this says this was our turning wisdom to knowledge within perceived latter-lived struggles. Be only quiet interpreted through defined, non-seemingly innocent damage through non-damaging. So that would be passive-aggressive. That to scientifically map passive-aggressive within actual passive-aggressive rather than there's passive-aggressive and there is assertive. Without the vice versa, the vice versa understanding. So, turning, turning wisdom to knowledge within perceived latter-lived struggles be only quiet interpreted through defined, non-seemingly innocent damaged. Not through damaging, not through truth, not through essence of, because pure adjudication ain't to rule out certain dictations within the gray area of perceived perception. Defined within the selfish, unloving, non-self-serving, selfish-enabled awareness. So within, certain enabled essences, we forgive within the non-vice sense of the meaning, the unforgivable, and the unforgived vice versa noticed. To be
high laughed, highlighted, highluted.
It is nice to have and to enjoy hobbies. It is nice to enjoy being enabled. Just not, I don't know, to be enabled by your hobbies, to be enabled by your job, maybe to be enabled by natural selection. And within the essence of natural selection, I would not maybe highlight the there's essence of certain things and stuff and such. It's amazing to have a conversation definitively rather than to guess. And then it's nice to guess sometimes rather than have a conversation. Sometimes it's easier for for those men that are married to streamers, maybe they interact with their streamer wives through moderating their chat. Definitely experience. What does that say? You never know where, I don't know. I had attended this church whenever I was growing up, and the name of the church was Reach Out Christian Church. And to recognize the essence of reaching out, being within the stance of desired options and things and stuff and such. And let us not highlight the instances, things and stuff. Things and stuff and such. Someone in the flash. Coming up with the line. I don't know, to recognize reciprocity properly, I would drop your emotions before I fucking had you try to toy around and drop habits. Because, sometimes you drop a habit and it creates an unknown emotion, unknown circumstance, and, uncontrolled circumstances being the essence of your upcoming struggles. And that's not for me to, maybe that's not for me to know, or maybe it is for me to know. Just as because I had lived and experienced 2 eclipses. That's
definitely something within the transformation of human culture, human history, human language, human linguistics, human entitlement, and human coexistence, you know? So I, would continue to, imagine as I continue to guess. And recognizing that it's not communication. All you're doing is, in some instances, making yourself look bad. And, making yourself look bad does not mean that, things that sound such. I don't know how to be handled. And I don't know if I have the patience to sit here and, lesson to you accountability there, Twitter fingers, because, if it's the Twitter fingers that are gonna freaking end up running this country, God forbid, then we need to unentitle these, maybe hidden trophies. I don't know. They all look like, I don't know. I don't have an opinion. And if I did, with that, things and stuff and such, be sure to spam the chat. I have a note up for you right now, so yeah. Be right back. Yeah. Things and stuff and such. Yay! Time to practice your habits. Be right back. And do note, if I know all of your tricks, you have yet to know all of my treats. Figadil. I'm just being a ween. Stick it there. Was that a note of enticement? Shall we restart? to attract. Right. Tempt by offering pleasure and advantage. Stickity, stickity. We have been on for 2 hours. This has been a lit episode. So, be sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, and be sure to be sticky sticky. So much love, Vibe Drive. So much love. Dispositions, not our circumstances. As quoted, the greatest part of our happiness depends on our dispositions, not our circumstances. Martha Washington. Stiggity, stiggity.